At this very moment, somewhere out in the ocean, 5,000 sailors are living inside a floating steel city the size of 3 football fields. They're consuming 17,000 meals every single day, sleeping 3 levels high in stacked metal bunks, and sharing just 4 showers with over 100 other sailors. The USS Gerald R. Ford costs $13 billion to build, carries 75 fighter jets, and has the power to strike targets from over 1,000 miles away. But here's the part nobody really talks about. How do you feed, clean, and house an entire city that never stops moving, stays at sea for months, and operates under constant danger? The answers are more unbelievable than you might expect. These are not luxury cruise ships. There are no private suites, no fancy restaurants, and no personal space. When you're deployed aboard an aircraft carrier for 6 straight months, every day revolves around 3 basic human needs: eating, sleeping, and staying clean. And on a warship where one mistake can cost lives, even those simple routines become military-level operations. From the second sailors wake up inside coffin-sized bunks to the moment they grab their final meal at midnight, life aboard is unlike anything on land. The US Navy has spent decades refining this system, and what they've built is nothing short of incredible. Let's begin with the biggest question. How do you feed 5,000 people 3 times a day, while floating in the middle of the ocean with no grocery stores anywhere nearby? The answer comes down to military precision and massive scale. On a modern carrier like the USS Gerald R. Ford, the culinary crew prepares as many as 17,300 meals every single day. That includes breakfast, lunch, dinner, and something called midnight meals prepared for sailors working overnight shifts. The ship runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, meaning the kitchens never shut down. To make all this possible, the Navy employs between 93 and 114 trained culinary specialists. These aren't ordinary cooks. They go through intense training at the Navy's Culinary School in Fort Lee, Virginia, where they learn everything from knife techniques to operating industrial-scale kitchen equipment. Once deployed, they work brutal 12 to 16-hour shifts in kitchen temperatures that can exceed 135 degrees Fahrenheit. The numbers behind this operation are unbelievable. Every single day, the crew eats 1,600 pounds of chicken, 350 pounds of lettuce, 160 gallons of milk, 30 cases of cereal, and brews 20,000 cups of coffee, and that's just for one day. Across a normal 6-month deployment, they go through millions of pounds of food. And here's where things become even crazier. The daily grocery bill aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford ranges between $45,000 and $65,000 every day. That's over $1 million every month simply to feed the crew. Unlike restaurants on land, they can't restock whenever they want. Every 7 to 10 days, giant supply ships pull up alongside the carrier, match its speed, and transfer anywhere from 400,000 to 700,000 pounds of food through cable systems while both ships are still moving. It's a high-risk operation that demands flawless coordination. The Navy doesn't just hand out food randomly either. There are strict nutrition requirements. Male sailors are allocated around 2,850 calories per day, while female sailors receive around 2,100 calories. Menus rotate every 14 to 21 days to stop sailors from eating the same thing over and over again. Culinary teams also have to consider allergies, religious dietary requirements, and personal preferences whenever possible. So what does mealtime actually look like? Imagine a cafeteria line stretching across several decks. Breakfast usually runs from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Sailors grab trays and silverware, look over the menu board, and move through the line cafeteria style. The menu changes daily. Some mornings there are donuts or sweet rolls, but those disappear quickly. First come, first served is the rule. Dining areas are separated by rank. Enlisted sailors eat in large mess halls that feel similar to school cafeterias. Officers eat in separate wardrooms with slightly nicer furniture and more formal service. Senior officers enjoy private dining rooms with white tablecloths and higher quality meals. The hierarchy extends even to eating. But there's also something special. Once every month, sailors celebrating birthdays receive a unique experience. They're seated at tables with white tablecloths, wine glasses filled with non-alcoholic drinks, soft music in the background, and premium meals like lobster or prime rib. For young sailors far from home, those small details make a huge impact on morale. As one Navy chief explained, everything in life revolves around food. Of course, there are challenges. Emergency drills and battle stations can happen at any moment. If you're standing in line, waiting for food and an alarm suddenly sounds, you abandon everything and sprint to your assigned station. Depending on your schedule, you might not get another opportunity to eat for another 7 or 8 hours. Quick question for you. Have you ever spent an entire day eating only food someone else prepared for you with absolutely no say in the menu? Drop your answer below. There's also the issue of waste. With this much food prepared daily, waste is unavoidable. Every leftover meal, every scrap of food, every piece of packaging has to be dealt with. The Navy follows strict environmental regulations, but in the end, much of the waste is compacted and yes, dumped overboard in approved ocean zones where it's legally allowed. Even with the challenges, food quality has improved massively over the years. And now let's talk about where sailors sleep after exhausting workdays. Forget everything you know about comfortable beds. On an aircraft carrier, sleeping spaces are called racks, and they're stacked 3 high inside cramped compartments, shared with dozens of other sailors. Modern Ford-class carriers use 40-person berthing areas, which is actually considered an improvement. Older Nimitz-class carriers squeezed up to 180 sailors into one single compartment. Here are the dimensions of a standard Navy rack: 77 inches long and 27 inches wide, slightly smaller than a twin bed. The mattress is nothing more than a thin 3-inch foam pad. And here's the worst part. From the top of your mattress to the bottom of the rack above you, there are only 20 inches of clearance. Just 20 inches. Barely enough room to roll over. Sailors in the middle and bottom racks often call them coffin lockers for obvious reasons. You're basically sleeping inside a horizontal tube. Every sailor receives a tiny storage compartment and a narrow upright locker measuring around 10 by 22 by 41 inches. That's it. Everything you own for 6 months has to fit inside that space. Most sailors quickly learn to pack only the essentials. These berthing compartments are located deep inside the ship, several decks below the flight deck. Some sailors can go weeks without seeing natural sunlight. They wake up under artificial light, work under artificial light, and go to sleep under artificial light. It can feel incredibly disorienting and take serious mental toughness to handle. Actually, sleeping is another challenge entirely. Aircraft carriers operate non-stop, meaning noise never disappears. Fighter jets launch and land overhead at all hours, sometimes only a few decks away from where sailors are trying to rest. Engines constantly hum, doors slam, boots echo through passageways. One veteran described the sound of jets landing as inconceivably loud, and that came from someone who worked on the flight deck every day. To survive, sailors rely heavily on earplugs and sleep masks. Some even buy custom curtains for their racks to block out light and reduce noise. On newer Ford-class carriers, these privacy curtains are now standard issue and give sailors at least a tiny sense of personal space. Shift work makes things even harder. Sailors rotate schedules constantly, meaning their sleep cycles are always disrupted. You might work day shifts one week and overnight shifts the next. Your body never fully adjusts. Add deployment stress, homesickness, and non-stop military pressure, and sleep deprivation becomes a serious issue. The berthing areas do include a few small comforts. Most have a shared lounge area with a television connected to satellite channels. Sailors can watch sports, movies, or news during downtime. Ford-class carriers even include Wi-Fi lounges near the sleeping areas, which is a major upgrade compared to older ships. Officers, unsurprisingly, have much better accommodations. Junior officers share staterooms with 1 to 5 roommates depending on rank. Lieutenant commanders and above usually share with just one other officer. Senior officers and commanding officers receive private rooms with desks, private bathrooms, and significantly more space. Still cramped compared to civilian life, but luxurious compared to enlisted sleeping quarters. Before we continue, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. More than 98% of viewers watch without subscribing, and it helps us create more content like this. Thanks for the support. One area the Navy has improved significantly is the layout of these sleeping quarters. New Ford-class carriers replace giant 180-person compartments with much smaller 40-person berthing spaces. That reduces noise, cuts down on foot traffic, and slightly improves quality of life. Each 40-person compartment also comes with its own attached bathrooms and showers, which brings us to the next topic: showering and staying clean. Staying clean aboard an aircraft carrier is more difficult than most people imagine. Let's start with bathrooms. In the Navy, they're called heads, a term dating back to old sailing ships, where bathrooms were located near the front, or head, of the vessel. A typical enlisted berthing area includes 3 to 4 showers, 3 to 4 toilets, and a few urinals, all shared by 80 to 100 sailors. Now here's something interesting. The newest Ford-class carriers, including the USS Gerald R. Ford, feature completely gender-neutral bathrooms. There are no urinals at all. Every restroom uses seated toilets only. The Navy designed it this way to make changing berthing assignments easier. If they need to convert male sleeping quarters into female quarters, or the other way around, they can do it quickly without rebuilding bathrooms. Critics have pointed out problems with the design. Bathroom experts say seated toilets take up more room than wall-mounted urinals and are generally less sanitary for male use. But the Navy believes the flexibility outweighs the downsides. The toilets themselves use vacuum-powered septic systems, similar to what you'd find on commercial airplanes. When flushed, a powerful vacuum sucks waste through a network of pipes, efficient but highly prone to clogs. And when these systems clog, it becomes a nightmare. The USS Gerald R. Ford has reportedly dealt with ongoing toilet problems ever since entering service. On average, the ship experiences around 2 major clogging incidents every day. When one section fails, multiple bathrooms can go offline at once. Repairs can take anywhere from 30 minutes to several hours, forcing sailors to search for working bathrooms several decks away. The main issue? Sailors flushing things they shouldn't, including t-shirts, mop heads, and random debris. Government investigators identified undersized piping systems as a design flaw back in 2020. To fix severe blockages, the Navy sometimes performs chemical acid flushes that cost around $400,000 every single time. Yes, $400,000 just to clear clogged toilets. During long deployments, when bathroom issues pile up, some sailors resort to desperate solutions. Reports describe sailors using industrial sinks, showers, bottles, or even relieving themselves over the side of the ship. Female sailors often have it worse, sometimes holding it for dangerously long periods, which can lead to health problems. Now let's talk about showers. Fresh water remains extremely valuable aboard a ship, even when equipped with nuclear-powered desalination systems. Sailors are trained to take what's called a Navy shower. Here's how it works. Turn the water on and get wet. Turn the water off. Soap your body. Turn the water back on and rinse off. Done. A proper Navy shower uses around 11 liters or 3 gallons of water. A normal civilian shower uses roughly 230 liters or 60 gallons. Multiply that difference across 5,000 sailors every day, and the savings become massive. The shower stalls themselves are tiny, basic metal compartments with no luxury whatsoever. You get in, clean up quickly, and leave. During busy hours, sailors often wait in line for showers, especially after shift changes when everyone finishes work at the same time. Despite all these challenges, hygiene is taken extremely seriously. The Navy enforces strict cleanliness standards because illnesses spread rapidly in close quarters. A single outbreak of flu or stomach sickness can impact dozens of sailors and hurt the ship's mission readiness. Here's a question for you. Do you think you could survive taking a 3-gallon shower every day for 6 months straight? Let us know in the comments. We've talked about food, sleeping, and hygiene. But there's another major part of life aboard an aircraft carrier: laundry. Aircraft carriers process an incredible 150,000 pounds of laundry every single week during deployments. Laundry facilities run between 16 and 20 hours per day, 6 or 7 days every week. And these aren't ordinary home appliances. We're talking industrial-scale equipment. 9 massive heavy-duty washers, 2 smaller specialty washers, 11 industrial dryers, and 12 steam presses. The laundry rooms are buried deep below the waterline, and they're brutal environments to work in. Temperatures regularly reach between 120 and 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Thermometers are installed throughout the compartments, and once temperatures exceed 100 degrees, sailors are restricted to 1-hour shifts to avoid heat-related illness. Even with upgraded ventilation systems on newer carriers, it remains exhausting work. Sailors are required to stencil their names onto uniforms so laundry can be returned properly. Socks are tied onto belt loops, while other clothing gets stuffed into mesh bags secured with oversized safety pins. These bags are collected from sleeping compartments and brought down to the ship's laundry rooms. But here's the problem. The system is notoriously slow and clothing regularly gets lost or mixed together. Many sailors prefer washing their clothes by hand in berthing area sinks rather than risk losing uniforms. Technically against regulations, but extremely common. The Navy has introduced improvements. Newer carriers now use ozone-based cleaning systems that reduce the need for soap and hot water. That lowers costs, helps the environment, and reduces damage to uniforms over time. Still, laundry remains one of the least popular jobs on the ship. Beyond food, sleeping, showers, and laundry, aircraft carriers also include a surprising number of amenities. There are medical and dental clinics staffed by Navy doctors and corpsmen. Barbershops provide haircuts to keep sailors within military regulations. Ship stores sell snacks, hygiene products, and essentials using cashless debit systems connected to sailors' accounts. There are gyms, libraries, chaplain services, post offices, and even small banks. It's a fully self-contained city designed to operate independently for months at sea. Everything sailors need exists aboard the ship. The real challenge is adapting to life in such a confined and highly structured environment. So why does any of this matter? Because these sailors are not on vacation. They are projecting American military power across the globe. At any given time, U.S. aircraft carriers patrol strategic waterways, deter enemies, support allies, and respond to global crises. The men and women living in cramped sleeping quarters, eating in crowded mess halls, and sharing tiny bathrooms are the backbone of national defense. The USS Gerald R. Ford alone represents a $13 billion investment in American military power. It carries 75 of the world's most advanced fighter jets. It can launch 270 sorties in a single day if necessary. Its 2 nuclear reactors give it nearly unlimited range. And none of that matters without the 4,400 sailors who keep the ship operating every single day. The Navy understands that morale directly impacts mission success. Well-fed, well-rested sailors perform better under pressure. That's why the service continues investing heavily into improved living conditions aboard newer carriers. Smaller sleeping compartments, upgraded food programs, Wi-Fi access, and improved laundry systems are not luxuries, they're operational necessities. Life aboard an aircraft carrier is difficult. It's not a lifestyle most people could handle. But for the sailors who serve there, it's also a source of pride. They're part of something far bigger than themselves. They're protecting their country. They're standing watch while the rest of the world sleeps safely at night. Final question. Could you live like this for 6 straight months, knowing you were serving your country? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's the reality of life aboard a modern aircraft carrier. Thousands of meals served every day, sleeping inside steel coffins stacked 3 high, and sharing showers with 100 other sailors. It's not glamorous, but it's what keeps the most powerful Navy on Earth fully operational. If this video gave you a new appreciation for what sailors experience at sea, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into military life. Thanks for watching.